Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we will go through 15 sample questions and answer them in detail to help you prepare for the AZ303 Microsoft Azure Architect Technologies exam. In case if you like to purchase the entire set of 180 practice questions, use the link in the description below. I request you to comment if you would like me to do this sample test for any other Azure certification, and do subscribe, share and like the video. Let's get started. Your company wants to host a web app in 3 different Azure regions. The company uses the Azure Traffic Manager to distribute traffic across different regions. You use real user measurements to monitor the network latency for the application. Which of the following would you implement in the web application? Now, there are a lot of things going on in this question, so let's break them down. First, when you create a traffic manager, you can configure it to use different traffic routing methods like performance, priority, and so on. These methods determine how to route traffic to various endpoints. For example, the performance routing method routes the traffic to the nearest endpoint in terms of lowest network latency across different regions. You can enhance the accuracy of the traffic routing request by Traffic Manager to different regions by configuring what is known as real user measurements. In a nutshell, a real user measurement enables you to measure network latency to Azure regions by placing a JavaScript code in your client application. Whenever a user visits the web page, the JavaScript queries the Traffic Manager to get information about the Azure regions it should measure. Traffic Manager then returns a set of endpoints to the JavaScript that then measure the latency to these regions. These measurements are then reported back to the Traffic Manager. Over time, this happens across many user networks, so the Traffic Manager gets more accurate information about the latency characteristics of different user networks. This information gets included in the routing decisions made by the Traffic Manager. As a result, it leads to increased accuracy in those decisions based on the real user measurements. You can configure your web pages to send real user measurements to Traffic Manager by obtaining a key and embedding the generated code to your HTML page. So the correct answer is to embed the Traffic Manager JavaScript code snippet into your web application. Other options like diagnostic settings and application insights do not deal with real user measurements and so incorrect. You have a server built on the Windows Server 2019 OS. The server is a container host. You create a Docker file that builds a container image. You have to add a file named wizlab.data.txt from the server to a folder named c:\wizlab in the container image. You add the following line to the Docker file. Add file name and the file location. Would this fulfill the requirement? To answer this question, we need to understand a command similar to add, which is the copy command. Now, the copy and add commands are both Docker file instructions that serve similar purposes. They let you copy files from a specific location into a Docker image. However, the add command is older than the copy command. You can do several things with the add command, like copy files from a source to a destination, copy files from an external URL, and copy the compressed files. The fact that add command has so many functionalities proved to be problematic in practice as it behaved extremely unpredictable. So Docker introduced a new command called the copy command, which has only one function. That is, copy locally stored files from the source to the destination. For this question though, you can use either of the two commands. So the answer is yes, the add command would fulfill the requirement. But the Docker team strongly discourages the use of add command due to the nature of its unpredictability, especially for scenarios like this one, as the same thing can be easily achieved by the copy command. In your Azure subscription, you have 2 resource groups, and VM1 in one of the resource groups and a virtual network for the VM in the other resource group. You have to create a new VM, VM2, in the VisLab RG2 resource group. This VM2 needs to be part of the same virtual network. In which region should you create a new virtual machine VM2? Well, since the VM needs to be deployed in the same virtual network, it must be located in the same region as the virtual network, which is East US. You have an Azure Cosmos DB account for the SQL API type. It has two containers, and this item is added to VisLab container 1. You need to add the following items to the same Cosmos DB account. Which of the following items can be added to the same container? Before answering this question, let's try to understand the concepts of partitioning in Cosmos DB. To meet the performance needs of your application, Cosmos DB uses partitioning to scale individual containers in a database. In partitioning, the items in a container are placed into distinct groups called logical partitions based on the value of a partition key associated with each item in the container, such that all items in a logical partition have the same partition key value. In addition to this partition key, each item in a container has an item ID which is unique within a logical partition. Combining the partition key and the item ID is the item's index, which uniquely identifies the item. Based on this understanding, you can only add items that have a unique combination of item ID and the partition key. In addition to this item in container 1, we need to add these new items in the same container. Remember that an item can only be added if the combination of the partition key, which is the category value for container 1, and the ID value is unique. So item 1 cannot be added as it has a duplicate value for both the ID and the category value. All the other three items can be added to the container as they either have a different value or a missing value for the partition key. You have an Azure storage account for which you have created a shared access signature definition. The question is whether you can access all the containers in the storage account on the 27th of June 2020 at 5 p.m. Well, there is nothing wrong with the query time as it falls within the start and end date. To answer this question, you need to understand the option Allowed Resource Type. Azure Storage Account offers 4 different services: blob, file, queue, and table. Within each of those services, you can access a specific resource type, either a service or a container or an object. If you select service as the allowed resource type, you will get access to only the service level APIs. For example, get set service properties or list all the containers, queues, tables or file shares within a storage account. If you select container as the allowed resource type, you will get access to the container level APIs. So this permission is required if you want to access or create or delete blob containers or queues or tables or shares. And finally, if you select object as the allowed resource type, you will get access to object level APIs, which means you can access individual blobs, queue messages, table entities, and files within the containers. So the answer is no. Selecting service will not grant access to all the containers in the storage account. You need to select container as the allowed resource type. Your company has an on-premises file server that runs Windows Server 2019. You have to ensure that if the on-premises server fails, you can recover the files from Azure. So you create a recovery services vault in Azure and install the Azure Backup Agent in the on-premises server for scheduling backups. Would this meet the requirement? The scenario asked in this question is depicted in this architecture where a backup agent is installed on the on-premises machine. The agent uses VSS to take a point-in-time snapshot of the volumes and creates a virtual hard disk in the cache folder on the on-premises machine that's backed up before sending it to Azure Recovery Services Vault that stores recovery points created over time. So the answer is yes. You have a Windows Server as a container host, and you need to create a container image with the commands from and run. Which of the following would you create to store these instructions? For creating containers, you would use Dockerfile, which contains commands as a step-by-step recipe on how to build your image. From command specifies the underlying OS that you are going to use to build the image. The Docker run command creates and runs a container from a given image. Your company has deployed resources for several departments in Azure. Each department has a separate security requirement. Which of the following is useful for fulfilling the requirement of Department A, which is to store asymmetric keys to allow for real-time I/O encryption and decryption of Azure SQL database data and log files? Well, this question is slightly straightforward, and you can easily guess the solution for storing all keys and secrets in Azure is Azure Key Vault. Azure Security Center is an advanced threat protection solution and is not used for storing keys. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management is an Azure AD solution that's used for controlling and managing access to Azure resources. And managed identities provide Azure services with an automatically managed identity for authentication without having any credentials in code. You have an Azure Cosmos DB container with a partition key as day. The container has these 4 items. You have to programmatically query this container and retrieve only item 1 and item 2. And you run this query and set the enable cross-partition query property to true. Would this meet the requirement? Since the partition key is day, there will be 3 logical partitions. Items 1 and 2 will be in the first logical partition, and items 3 and 4 will be in the second and the third logical partitions respectively. Cross-partition query is enabled, so this query will select all 4 items across the partitions as the value 10 or 15 is present in all the items. To select only the first 2 items, you should query on the partition key. So the correct answer is no. The next question is a case study where we have an Azure Resource Manager template for the deployment of virtual machines. And the question is, does the template use a custom image of Windows Server for deployment? Well, first let's run through the structure of the template. You have the schema section which defines the location of the JSON file that describes the version of the template language. Content version is the version of the template. The parameter section defines the values that you input while deploying the resources. There is a default value for Windows OS version and 4 other optional values. And you have resources section that defines the resources, which is the VM to be deployed. So this template doesn't have any mention of using custom VM image, so the answer is no. For an Azure storage account, a company has the requirement that the administrators can recover any blob data if it has been accidentally deleted over a period of 14 days. Which feature of Azure Storage is suitable for this requirement? Well, CORS or Cross-Origin Resource Sharing is a feature of HTTP and not of Azure Storage. It enables a web application from one domain to access resources in another domain. Static website hosting is a feature of Azure Storage Account but doesn't satisfy the requirement in the question. Azure CDN is a content delivery network solution and is not related to a storage account. Soft delete is the right answer as it protects your data from being accidentally deleted. when you enable soft delete, you can recover objects after they have been deleted within a specified retention period. A development team has created a .NET Core web application. You have a Docker file, and the Docker-based application has the following requirements. First, ensure that the application wizlab.dll runs at the start of the Docker container, and then run a PowerShell script in the container. Both the DLL and the PowerShell scripts are in the same location as that of the Docker file. Which of the following commands would you place in the Docker file? Choose 3 answers from the options given below. First, you would use the from command to create a container based on the .NET Core image. There is only one from command, so we select this. Next is the entry point command, which will execute the .NET command that runs the DLL. And finally, the run command that runs the PowerShell script. Other forms of the entry point and the run commands are incorrect. The expose command is not relevant here, as it is only used for informing Docker to listen on a specific TCP port at runtime. You have a logic app. The application provides a response when HTTP requests are received. The application should have the capability to receive up to 200,000 requests in a 5-minute period during peak hours. Which of the following should you configure to ensure that the application can handle the expected load? Well, first, have a look at the throughput limits information for Azure Logic Apps. You can see that the default number of action executions within a single Logic App run is 100,000 over a 5-minute period. But you can configure the Logic App to run up to 300,000 action executions within a 5-minute period, and to change the default limit, you need to run the Logic App in a high throughput mode. So to run the Logic App in high throughput mode, go to the workflow settings in Logic App and set high throughput to on. So the correct answer is we need to configure the workflow settings. IAM and access keys are related to access management and are incorrect. Your company has an Azure subscription that contains the following virtual machines. The company has an Azure Key Vault in the East US region. Which of the following virtual machines can use Azure Disk Encryption with this Key Vault? Now, there are 2 requirements for using Azure Disk Encryption with Key Vault. First, your Key Vault and the VMs must be in the same subscription. This question doesn't talk about subscription, so let's ignore that. Second, to ensure that the encryption secrets do not cross regional boundaries, Azure Disk Encryption requires that the Key Vault and the VMs to be located in the same region. Well, here only VM1, VM2 and VM4 are in the same location as the location of the Key Vault. So the correct answer is option B. Further, in addition to that, you can use Azure Disk Encryption with both Windows and Linux based VMs, so this operating system column is irrelevant. You have to implement an Azure Logic App to notify an administrator when the settings of a VM in a resource group are changed. Which of the following components would you create in the Logic Apps designer? Choose 3 answers from the options given below. Let's go to Azure portal and understand the steps required to send a notification from the Logic App workflow. First, go to the Logic App designer. Create a blank Logic App and then create an event grid trigger, which will be triggered whenever a resource event occurs. We select event grid because it has built-in support for events coming from many Azure services. In the event grid trigger, select the subscription, resource type and the resource name where events are published for the trigger to listen to. Since we need to notify administrators when the settings of a VM in a resource group changes, specify the resource group as the resource type and the name of the resource group as the resource name. So we have configured the listener for the resource group. Since we want the Logic App to run Only when the settings of a VM in a resource group is changed, create a condition that checks for the write or update operation. Here, you specify the condition, and the final step is to create an action that will notify the administrator when the condition is true. So, D, A, and B are the right choices in that order. Once you are done, submit the test and you can verify your performance from the result. Also, you can get the performance report domain-wise, so you can analyze the questions for any particular domain and you will see all the questions related to that domain, their correct answers and explanations for each question, and also links to the Microsoft documentation in case you would like to learn the concept in depth. So if you are serious about clearing the AZ303 exam, check the description for the link to entire practice test. Roughly there are 185 questions that cover the length and breadth of all the objectives in the exam. Also, please comment if you would like me to do this sample test for any other Azure certification, and do subscribe, share and like the video.